Hey there! We are here for April predictions and messages. I'm so excited to share with you. So April 2022. So I spent some time hiking the land and just really feeling into listening to the creek and the trees and the earth and really just trying to feel into what April is bringing. And I know there's a lot of different predictions out there. Also people doing like the Aries new moon, all that information, but mine's gonna be a little different, so I hope you're okay with that. It's what I'm receiving, it's what I'm receiving from this space, so hopefully you just keep your ears and your heart open and receive whatever is meant for you. Maybe put some little like bookmarks in some of the things that I say, right? That maybe it's like, oh, it doesn't really make sense now, but might make sense later. And yeah, let's go into it. So let's just really kind of feel into our hearts, set the intention to receive whatever it is that we're meant to receive, and to just enjoy the process. All right, so April to me seems very much like kind of the end of this tunnel or portal that we were in from the time of 2020 until now. It's a really interesting, it's almost like we're being like pushed out after all that time inside the cocoon or the womb or like whatever you want to call it. But 2020 was, and from 2020 to now was almost like this portal or this birth canal that's kind of birthing this new world and this new earth that's coming. So April's like just like, it's like, I don't even know if the baby's like fully out, but like you can see the light basically, like you're coming out of this tunnel. And if, you know, whatever has been going on with you over the last 2 years, it's almost like whatever you were working on, whatever you were going through, whatever you were releasing, whatever you were becoming aware of, all that kind of stuff, like now we're gonna start to see some of that, some of the fruits of your labor, you know, in a way. So it's really exciting. It does look like also April is setting us up for some sort of abundance in the summertime, which is exciting. And again, I trust that whoever's watching this video, like this is for them. There's definitely a lot of people that won't be receiving all these like beautiful messages, but I trust that they will not see this video. So that's kind of the vibe that I was getting. Of course, this is like not for everyone, and that's why not everybody's gonna see the video. So it does look like summer is like this time of like harvest, basically, like that there is gonna be opportunity, like just a lot of, I just see a lot of light. I see a lot of, like that's the true reaping of the benefits, but like April seems to be the very beginning of that process. So we're like setting ourselves up for that. April is definitely meant to be a month of intention and focus, because it feels like almost there's just no more time for doubt, or even like no more time for getting caught up in like negative thinking that makes us stop, and instead being like, okay, this is what I know, what I want, like this is what I know, what I'm heading towards, like this is what I know I believe in. Yes, I've been playing with it for the last 3 months, 6 months, maybe 7 years, like whatever it's been, and now it's very much like go time. And not too much is going to change, other than it seems like you are just better at stopping yourself when you doubt, or when you get into negativity, or when you like slow yourself down. So this is a very focused, intentional month. It feels like very much like wherever you put your focus is what's going to start to be. And it looks like this will, your focus pays off very much in the summer. This is very much a month that about acting as if. So it feels like whatever you're calling in, or whatever you've been working towards, whatever you know you want in your life is not fully here yet, but it's like already in the field, like it's already in the energy field. So this month is really about walking as if, you know, really feeling as if, planning as if, but not just in our minds or like in our visualization, but actually acting as if. So if, for example, you're feeling like you want a big crowd of people to listen to what you have to say, you would basically get on Instagram and talk as if you had a big crowd of people. If you want to call in a partner that's very loving and supportive, you would go out on dates acting as if that loving, supportive person already exists, that it's like already there. So it's a very much acting as if, but it's not just like visualizing as if. It's not really that manifesting stage where it's done in our quiet room in the middle of the night, journaling and visualizing. It's going out into the world and holding yourself that way. So you may even want to like change the way you walk or pay attention to the way you're holding your body. If you were the person that had this thing, how would you carry yourself? If you were the person that had this thing, how would you think? If you were the person that had this thing, how would you feel? That's really the vibe of April. And again, it feels like those of us who have spent the last few months like really fine tuning and like looking at our shadows with a very fine comb, this is very much what you've been waiting for, like the momentum, the action you've been waiting for. Some people are not going to experience that because there hasn't been like a previous work to that, but we're going to see almost like this energy that kind of pushes you forward, that you don't even know that it's pushing you forward, but only because it has a lot, like your speed has so much to do with how deep you went the last few months, like how deep you went into yourself and into your shadows, into, you know, your own understandings during the winter time. So this is like a pushing of that. And then we'll see some people move forward a little bit, but it's just a result of whatever they were doing in the winter time. April feels like a very fast month. It's a lot of momentum is kind of the feeling, and that momentum that it's not complete, you know, like the annoying momentum that like you have a checklist of items and you kind of worked on that checklist item, like you're working on number 2, but you didn't really fully complete it, but you've gotten far along because there's almost like number 2 on the checklist has like so many sub tasks, basically is what it feels like, and you did like 4 sub tasks, but there's still 4 more. But nonetheless, a lot of these projects or desires or manifestations, we really start taking steps and momentum starts to happen. We're not going to see the completion. The completion comes more in the summertime, but at least we're knocking down those subtasks. So that's exciting. I also see a circulation of money starting in April. It feels like almost people have maybe been holding their money, and not like the layman. It feels like bigger chunks of money. So it feels like almost like companies start to release money, or maybe it's organizations or governments or something. But there is money like coming from the top down that starts to circulate. There's like an emphasis on the economy, which is so funny because, you know, obviously gas prices and all this stuff that is happening, but there seems to be like oh my gosh, like economy. So we've been seeing just inflation, all these things, and it looks like we may not see it right away, but there's an emphasis on trying to make a solution to that starts to happen. You may feel the need to release some money too, and my sense is that if you're going to release money, it really feels like intentional money. Again, April is like really asking us to be intentional, because it's almost like you have no idea how powerful you are. So every step you take, including like how you spend your money, where you put your intention, is going to multiply for you. So it feels like if you're going to spend money, it's a really good time to start investing in your dreams, your future, yourself. So I'm actually starting herbalism school this month, which I'm so excited about. And that's like an investment in myself, in what I want to see the world. Like I want to be closer to the plants. I want to understand how to work with them. So that's also like a vision of mine for myself, for my future, and for the earth. So and I spent a decent amount of money in that program. So that's what the money feels like. So even if you're buying clothes, like, you know, what does this clothes mean to me? Like, where is it coming from? Things like that. It feels very much like this awareness that my money creates, the way I spend my money can return to me, and it's an intention that the whole world is feeling. So I thought that was really cool and interesting, and that has a lot to do, again, with what we start to see in the summer. So another thing is we see like relationships crumbling or coming together, which is not always fun. So we'll probably see some breakups, some divorces get started. But that has a lot to do with like, there's a very strong, people are getting very strong on their vibrations, basically. So what that means is like when you get really intentional, aligned, less afraid, less scared, less susceptible to the darkness, basically. Like people are getting like strong in their light. So what's happening is that people that are not on your wavelength, not on the same energy vibe as you, are starting to go away, which can be very scary, you know, like if you're losing a best friend or a partner, a spouse, like it could be scary. But just to encourage you that it's a huge applause for you, because it means that you're like really walking your path and like getting strong in your light, which is beautiful. On the flip side of that, we see people that are looking to be around people with the same wavelength, which is exciting, especially for those of us who are dating, because it feels like people are like, okay, like I'm ready. I want to be around people like this. So even those of us who are like starting businesses and we're like looking for an ideal client, like we're really interested in serving a certain group, it just looks like these people start to find each other, which is really nice. Like energy and wavelengths are uniting in April. They're starting to unite, which is really cool. And as much as April kind of feels like focused, and it's not serious. So it's just like forward moving momentum. There's still a lot of space for rest. I see a lot of fun starting in April too, which, you know, spring, of course, things like that, the sunlight, but it's definitely, it feels less like, oh, we're so serious about what we're doing, and more like, we're so excited, let's see how far we can go. So that's really what's gonna, if you're gonna ride this wave that April has to offer that brings us through the summer, you wanna ride it with a lot of like that boy energy that's like, I don't know, let's see how far I can go. You know, I look at my kids, like the boys, like they'll like jump the creek and, you know, they're kind of afraid, but at the same time they're like, how far can I go, like before I fall or I get wet or whatever. And that's really like the vibe of April. To catch that momentum, you might be like a little bit afraid because it's the unknown. You don't know where you're going. You don't know if these like deals are gonna work, or what, you know, or these decisions are necessarily like totally gonna pan out. But there's a curiosity that keeps guiding you. There's definitely a sense of pulling and following, pulling and following, pulling and following. And so it's like, it's taking me there and I take one step, it's taking me there. But it's fun. Like it should be fun and should be curious and just should be this exciting energy of like, I don't know, but I just feel like I'm being called here. Let's see how far I can push this. How far can I go? So enjoy your April. I hope that was helpful, and I guess we shall see. We'll see each other in May and we'll catch up.